I briefly want to go over adding a dart to a dartless bodice. So as you can see here, I have my dartless bodice and I want to add a dart. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a parallel line to my center front line from my high point of shoulder to my hem. So I will draw that in. Now the next thing that I need to do is take my measurement from my high point of shoulder to my apex. And I'm working in a quarter scale pattern here, so I am going to say that mine is 6 inches. So I'm going to put a little hash mark at 6 inches. Now the next thing that I'll do is square a line across to my side seam from my apex. Okay, now after I've done that, I am going to draw a line up into the lower third of my armhole. So 1/3, 2/3. So let's draw that line in. Okay, now I have my guidelines. The next thing I'll do is I am going to cut up this line to my apex, and then I am going to pivot here and cut all the way to my armhole, stopping just before it because I need to leave a little hinge point right here. And then I will also cut to my hinge point. So cut to but not through. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to cut this line. Again, cut to but not through. Perfect. So what you should end up with is something. If your pattern doesn't quite pivot like that, it means you need to cut closer. Let's see if that did the trick. So what you should end up with is something similar to this. Now I'm going to put another piece of paper underneath here. So this would be a similar concept to what you would do for a full bust adjustment. And in this case, we're just trying to add a dart. So what you'll do is you'll pivot it open just like this. And how much you open this depends on how much you need for your bust. There are some formulas about a 1/2 inch for a C cup and a 1/4 inch for every cup size larger than that. So we're going to just, since it's the quarter scale pattern, I'll just open it up like that. And then I'm going to just add some tape to hold everything in place. Okay, so now that I have taped everything, what I need to do is true my lines. So this got a little bit longer, and the reason why is to go over the bust, it needs to get a little bit longer. So what we'll do is we will continue this center front line down, and then we will just blend this line in, and this will become our new waist. And what's really nice about this hinge is it didn't really change the shape of the armhole. There may just be a little area right here that you might need to just blend back together, but other than that, the armhole has stayed the same. So if you wanted this to be a side bust dart, you would have to square across, and then you could measure this opening from here to here. How big is this dart? And in this case, it's 1 inch. So you would just measure down 1 inch and mark it, and then this would become your bust dart. right here. If you indeed wanted the bust dart, that would be it. And of course you would move this in 1/2 inch to 1 inch and redraw your dart legs if you wanted a side seam bust dart. However, if you do not want a bust dart and you want a waist dart, let me show you how to do that. So I'm just going to cut this out to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so if I wanted to shift this dart, I can shift it anywhere, of course, on the bodice, but say I want to put it here at the waist. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start by marking where I want it. I want the dart right here. And then I am going to start tracing around my pattern until I reach the first dart leg. So trace all my lines here. Okay, and now I've come to the first dart leg, and I'll use my awl and I'll pivot that dart closed. Okay, and then I will continue tracing around my pattern until I get to that marking. And when I remove this, I have my apex here. And then I can draw in the dart legs. And now I have the same 1 inch dart in my waist. And I can just blend in true this line. Same thing with the other lines. Just make sure everything is nice and straight. And there you have it. Now you've shifted it to the waist. And like I mentioned, you can shift that dart anywhere onto this pattern that you want. And you can watch the other video where I show you how to do that. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment if you have any questions.